Southland, 1 week at a time. SCV Chat starts now.
It's 7 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, so you know what time it is. It is time for your weekly episode of SCV Chat. I'm your host, Vivian Moose, and I'm joined by the illustrious, the past commander-in-chief, Mighty T-Rex, Jason Boshiers. I was trying to see if I could get you with that. Before we get started in this episode, please remember the views and opinions expressed on this broadcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the SCV, its GEC, nor any division, brigade, camps, or any other subsidiaries, strictly those expressing them. Commander, how are you doing on this Monday afternoon?
You know, all in all, I'm really doing wonderful, and I can tell you why. During all of this whole process, this winter storm that come through, I think they named it Fern. Throughout this whole thing, I haven't lost power for any more than for just a few minutes. Now, other things have gone wrong, but we've managed to have power. Of course, the road in front of the house is still junk. We did not get very much snow. I'm going to say around 2 inches of snow. But we had, I'm going to say, about 3/4 of an inch of ice. The bushes I have in front of my house, they're completely over and touching the ground. Ooh. And I've gone outside a few times, you know how we are, and we go outside to take a look, and there's trees. You can hear them breaking and cracking. Like I've lost internet who knows how many times, and it was out for most of the day yesterday. But I'm using the cell phone as a hotspot, and it's working now. And the reason why I'm using it now is because we lost power a little bit ago because a tree up the road here decided that it wanted to split, and they've been up there with chainsaws cleaning it all up. And that's the reason why that, I'm going to say that I've been well, because there's people with just a few miles of my house that haven't had power since it started coming through about 10 or 11 o'clock during the day on Saturday. So all in all, I'm doing well. You know, I've got the lights on. I've got heat. So God is good as far as I'm concerned, you know, because I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Because I know some people that haven't. Even though they're not doing well because they don't have heat, you know, don't have electricity to the house. And one person that I was talking to, we texted just a little bit ago, and he's an SCV member, and he hasn't had power since Saturday afternoon, and they haven't. He hadn't had a shower or anything. So, yes, because it's a electric water heater. You know, everything's electric in the house, and they don't have anything running. And he's hoping he's going to get it, and he lives just not too far from me. So, all in all, I'm doing well. Now, I'm going to ask you, young man, how are you doing?
Well, we're doing good at the farm. Was a bit worried there for a minute, but we didn't get any snow down here, just some ice and some cold weather, which does have its own challenges. But like you said, one of my friends in northern Mississippi texted me, one of my closest friends, and he was like, at my fiance's house with my future in-laws, because my power's out. They have a generator, but I haven't been able to sleep because trees have been exploding all night.
Yeah.
So yes. I feel for those in Oxford, Mississippi, because I know how rough it is. I know it's been pretty rough in Jackson too. So I am giving sweet prayers for everybody across the Southland tonight, and hoping that y'all stay safe and stay warm. And hopefully, if you are without power, you get some power soon. Dr. Mitchum actually texted and said he hated that he was missing tonight's episode, but he doesn't have any power.
Oh, yeah.
So big prayers out to everybody. We will be trying to at least break up the monotony and try to give y'all something to laugh and enjoy tonight. And get back on track with the season 7 premiere of SCV Chat. 6 years in July. That is crazy to think about.
Yes, and I want to touch on something real quick. It's just the fact that it's going to be brutal cold all week. Got up this morning and it was already snowing, and it was 11 degrees, and it was more or less just ice. And of course, it's as we start this, we're down to 16 degrees. We're going down to single digits, lower single digits tonight. And it's going to be this way all week. And I know it's going to be that way for everybody all across the Southland. Because I talked to several people earlier. One of them was from down in Florida. And even though they had broken a record at 87 degrees, they're going to be getting down into the 30s for them, which is going to be cold, cold, cold. And I think this is an example of what can happen to you with Carl Jones here. His back door last night begging to come in and get warm. Well, I don't know if you let them in or not, but they might have made a good midnight snack. I'm not telling you anything, Carl Jones, but I've eat you cooking, and I believe you can cook anything and make it taste great. So
I'll agree with that. I'll definitely agree with that.
Yes. And just want to say Michael Hardy is, he did his show last night, which I was fortunate enough to watch. And Michael Hardy does a fantastic show, Hardy on History, Sunday night at 7:30 Central Time. But it's 5 degrees there in Western North Carolina. Jason Lloyd's up here, 8 inches of snow on top of sleet yesterday, like a hard brick shoveling today here in Mosby's Confederacy. Frigid temps here for the next couple of days. Yes, sir, we're going to be facing the same thing. I'm afraid it's going to be that way all over the Southland. I seem like I saw Chuck McMichael had popped in and said that that he had talked about how cold it was, and he also mentioned this. I want to show this, and thank you for bringing this up, Mr. McMichael. Today is Louisiana Secession Day.
Congratulations.
January 26th, 1861. Oh, I hope y'all had a good party and y'all celebrated Louisiana doing what Louisiana should have done.
I bet they're all gathered around a campfire right now. I wouldn't be. I give you credit if you actually are, but I do hope that y'all had a great celebration today in some shape, way, or form, however you can find a way. Us Southerners don't do well in cold weather. I've come to discover, especially those of us more south than the rest. Tennessee gets snow, every time I go up there, it feels like. But Mississippi, when we get snow, it's a red flag. Like we've closed schools down. Their schools closed down in southern Mississippi, scared that if snow comes. I remember when I was younger, we had like an inch or two of snow, and it was like you would think a major attack has happened. We closed down everything, schools, work. Nobody went nowhere. We all sat around the fireplace that day.
It's here in Tennessee. When I was growing up, we went to school with snow on the ground. They would tell the bus drivers, use your discretion, or tell the parents to use their discretion, or figure out a way to get them. But we lived near town or in town, and there were times, and with snow on the ground, I walked to school. But I wasn't like my dad when he told the story where they had 10 feet of snow and they walked uphill both ways to school, 30 miles and, 6 feet of snow and all that. And I'm not saying that, but we would have a snow on the ground and we'd still have school. For them to call off school, it was in the 4, 5, 6 inch range. And I've been through a couple of them that were 8 to 10 inches. And it really shuts things down for about 3 or 4 days. And I've been through, I think this is the 4th ice storm I have been through as an adult. And you went through them as a kid and you didn't pay any attention to it. Your parents took care of everything, or your relatives did, or if it was anything at all, if you were sleeping in a living room floor in a sleeping bag, you thought you were camping. You didn't know that you were out, that, you know, or didn't have power or something like that. But it's, and, you know, this was what I was looking for from Chuck. We had 3 inches of ice, road still closed, but you have power. Glad that you have power. I can't say how much ice that we've had. I know at one time that we had 3/4 of an inch. That was during the day yesterday. All yesterday afternoon and into the night, it was sleet, freezing rain, snowy mix. So I think most of the Southland's been busted up like this. I wanted to remind everybody that we do have the emergency fund. That you know, if I was going to the SCV relief fund. I just went and I looked it up. And that, well, I want to remind people, because if you know somebody that has had a terrible time out of it, they've had a tree fall on their house, you know, don't forget about the SCV relief fund, and don't forget to all of us who can to donate a little money to it. When you have a little money, because it's brother helping brother. And this is an opportunity, you know, and you think, well, what can I do? I made it through okay, you know. Okay, well, what can I do? Well, if you don't know anybody directly, give a little money to the SCV Relief Fund. And that way, if somebody has an issue, you know, well, let's just say that I know what happened just a few blocks from me is a tree split right by the house, and it took out the house and it took out a car. And it's so, you know, those people are, and I know them, and right now they're having a tough way to go. Because when it, you know, fell, took out the roof, it pulled the power off the side of the house. They had a brief fire. I mean, it wasn't a good thing. So I think that you know, that's somebody that's going to need help, and they're not SCV members, but that we could have an SCV member in that shape. So think about them.
Yeah, please do. I'll get the link for the relief fund shortly. But funny that you mentioned that. So yeah, down when I was in southern Mississippi, yeah, we canceled everything if there was snow. We waited until that stuff melted before we did anything else. But when I moved to Oxford, yeah, and I wanted to bring this up. SCV Chat historian Michael C. Hardy is completely right. It is hard to imagine our ancestors having to endure these same temperatures outside in the uniform, especially late war. Oh gosh. I couldn't imagine. And again, another reason that they without a doubt deserve your respect if you're a first time listener. These men went through it, and they did it for their homes. They did it for their wives, their kids, their future kids, their future grandchildren, you know, for future generations. They went out there and endured all this for us. So yeah, no, that is just, it's hard to believe, because I went outside in a pair of shorts earlier last night. Nah, I turned my happy little butt around and ran back inside. And even when I'm hunting, I grow out my beard during hunting season to keep me warm on the water when I'm duck hunting. Me and my poor dog the other day had whisker, like frost hanging from our facial hair because we had gotten a bit wet. It didn't do much. But yeah, no, I remember when I moved to northern Mississippi and I saw snow and I was like, great, classes are canceled. And I remember I got an email from a teacher being like, don't drive, but walk to class. And I mean, I was so upset. I didn't have any clothes for this. All my deep, cold stuff is hunting stuff. And it's all the way back in southern Mississippi. Well, I can't drive 4 hours to go get it when there's a lot of ice on the road. And I never drove in ice. That was also an experience, almost sliding off the road in a Challenger. Sports cars are not good for this type of weather. I thought I was just going to look nice in a sports car or didn't think about anything else. That poor thing was, I'm probably the only person that went to go feed animals in a sports car and got stuck in the mud a couple times and had to be pulled out. That's when I got the Moose Mobile, as Connor calls it, my gray truck. But, oh, gosh, that was awful. I remember I looked for my Letterman I had from high school. I wore 2 shirts, a hoodie. I wore anything I could under my jeans, because all my jeans are just this thin fabric. So I was freezing, but I didn't have any long johns, so I'm wearing shorts. So the bottom of my legs are freezing. I'm walking through snow in cowboy boots that were soaked by the time I got to class because of the snow. Oh gosh, I remember that my first actual winter, and I had to go out and do stuff. I was so upset because I couldn't fathom that people didn't cancel anything for snow, because my whole life we had the 2 snowstorms.
Yeah.
Well, one of them, or technically it's 3, but one of them was the year I was born, so I wasn't remembering that. But one of them was when me and my brother were little, and the other one was my junior or senior year in high school. And I mean, just like everything shut. Even Walmart closes in southern Mississippi when there's snow. And I just couldn't believe there were people going to work. There were people driving. There was the school was full of students going to class looking like they were just bundled up. I saw one poor guy just with a blanket on him. I was so shocked. And I never forgot. I made sure I was ready for the next snowstorm. And there's a classic video out there that I might show one day of me with COVID at the next snowstorm. And it was so bad you couldn't get on the road. It was like 5, 6, 7 inches of snow. My whole garage was covered in it. I couldn't let that up. And I went outside to play with my dog, Allie. I just gotten her. She was a puppy about Nate's age now. And there's a famous video that was used as promotional on my business page. And it's me running after the dog and slipping and falling on the on the ice. And I remember just being like, you know what? I'm going to stay here for a minute. Because I could barely breathe when I had COVID. And I was so weak and tired all the time. I slept like 20 hours a day almost. And so when I hit that ice, I was out for the count, son. I sat there. Poor Allie is trying to lick me to get me up. And I'm just looking at her like, there's no getting up. I ain't got that power in me. And poor thing, like, got under my jacket. And we stayed out there for about 5 or 10 minutes for luckily a neighbor walking their dog helped me up.
Okay. Well, all it takes is one time and you'll always remember it, and then you'll get prepared. In fact, I want to bring it up, and we'll get back to what Michael C. Hardy's talking about here. But John Blankenship had this to say, and I remember the 94 ice storm, and the roads were absolutely horrible. And we moved into this house in 1994, and let's just say this way, over the next 2 years, I cut down 17 trees. Let's put it that way. I had a learning experience with the 94 ice storm. So when you were talking about your learning experience, I had a learning experience with that. I had to take a chainsaw and cut up trees to ever get out of the driveway. I mean, it was that bad. But that's common for a lot of that. And, so you're all right?
Yeah, someone just slammed a door here. I just kind of threw me off. I just hear a boom. I didn't know anybody was up here. Yeah, no.
See, this gets me, and I'm glad that he brought that up, because and I'm sure many of our members, many people out there have reenacted, and many of us have reenacted in temperatures similar to this, if not conditions similar to this. I've reenacted before when we were down in the single digits, and we were reenacting the next day, and it was in the 20s and 30s. And you actually were appreciative of the wool at that time. You think about it on those temperatures, and there were so many of them, the clothes were wore out. Shoes, if they had them, were not in good shape. If they had shoes at all. And I tell you, I say you have the SCV Relief Fund popped up there. And I want to remind everybody of that. And if you ask camp commanders, brigade commanders, division commanders, talk to your staffs, and, see if you have a member that is hurting because of this, and talk to about the SCV Relief Fund, because that's what it's for. But I was just thinking about that and what they went through like you said, and like it has been said, they placed themselves between an invading army and their homes. But they still went through this. It was not good times. It was not good times. And you think of the winter of 63 and 64, and you were up near Rogersville or up in that area, and they were talking about the temperature being below zero, and they would find men dead from exposure where they would be standing picket or vedette, and they would die of exposure from being out there. So just freezing to death. So, and you think about this now, go out and go through the next week of this without any relief, and you have an appreciation for those men. And Michael C. Hardy, thank you for bringing that up.
Yes,
the bad clothes, and as he said, they were shacks, if they had anything.
Yeah, I know. I can't imagine, because I know that I had it so much easier than them, and I was sitting there like, nah, not dealing with this. My power would go out, and luckily I had a fire. And man, that fire stayed on all day long, all night long for like a week and a half. I just kept that fire on, and that's kind of what we've been doing in my house.
Yes.
Me and Dad keep that fire going. I busted out a heater from when I lived with my mother, and I hadn't seen that thing in about 10 years. I cranked that son of a gun all the way up. I was like, nope, not dealing with this. I got 2 blankets. I got 2 dogs. We making it through. But yeah, some of them cold nights can get a bit iffy. And yeah, we actually had a tree down today at the farm. So we've had to walk our food to the animals, which was its own fun day. You don't know that fun experience until you have 3 buckets full of food and a hay bale over your back. and then like all of a sudden, your partner, the man that runs the farm, the king of Dixie Farms, your father, no, you can't find him. He trying to train the dogs, he told me. I think he was just trying to get out of it, but he vanished. But I do see GCB in the chat. We understand that you couldn't be here, brother. We understand, but we do miss you. This is the first season premiere in 6 years that Connor's not on. Usually me and him both make an effort to be on for the season premiere of SCV Chat. Me and him take over duties on hosting a lot, and of course there's sometimes we can't. We throw Jason on the bus now. He can host it, but we usually both have been on the premiere. So yeah, this is a weird thing.
Yeah,
Wow. I just want to throw this comment up. That's hurtful. I'm going to remember that when I get down there for the reunion. I'm going to remember that.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That's not the part that is taller than Jason. Can we confirm? I had heard that it was, yes. I don't know if I was not aware that I become a unit of measurement. But if I'm a unit of measurement, you can call it whatever you want to. And then, and that might very well be the case. But
is it 3 Jasons high?
Okay. Okay, so now we have Connor going on. Okay, and Connor, I did not know that, and Moose. I want to thank you for bringing that up, because I know that's something that he wanted to keep going. To be part of this. He's been part of it since the beginning. This is the first season premiere that he's finished, and I'm honored to stand in for you, Connor. Harrison here on Moose sent me a text and asked me if I wanted to come on, and I'm honored to come on and do it anytime that y'all ask me to do it, because it is a great it's a great show, and this is the Flagstone event. This was the one that actually got the whole thing started, and it's nice to still be a part of it. Many years down the road, 6-7 years now.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Poor Jason, when he saw two young cats come up to him, and he hasn't been lieutenant commander in chief for 24 hours. And
no, I'm going to say about 3 hours.
About 3 hours, but it was three long hours.
Yes.
With we'll share that episode, that part of the story, if we ever get a private viewing on Patreon. That might be a Patreon story, what I'm about to share. So we're going to keep that to ourselves. But
okay,
it was a good conversation. Then we took it to I believe the newly minted commander in chief, Larry McClooney, and bombarded him about it for there he is, with no power.
Yes, when you mentioned Commander McClooney, I thought that I would pop that up, and that's the title of his new book, Paradox of Freedom, and it is a very good book. And he's told me he's looking at a volume 2 on that. So
wow,
yes, he's still doing research and still finding. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go right ahead.
No, GCB's got a point. 24 hours, more like 24 minutes. I know it was a couple of hours simply because of the state of mind I was in by that point. I had no business being pulled into a meeting, but I didn't have a choice in the matter. Me and GCB have been talking about about something similar to chat, but that night during the banquet, we actually had a concrete plan. We actually had talked about the show like this, and we will be talking about this shortly. The past commander-in-chief, Larry McClooney's new book, Paradox of Freedom, is a new sponsor of the show. So we will be putting some light on him in just a second, actually, as we get closer to. We were trying to keep that a bit under the down low, but I mean, it's not a lie. We talked to past commander-in-chief Chuck McMichael as well. And then once we had a game plan together, we cornered Jason up first, I believe, and then later, maybe like 24 minutes after we got done meeting with Jason, or maybe we called Larry into that meeting. Obviously, it was late, and I'm not remembering that too well.
Remember earlier, Carl Jones said he had the 3 polecats show up. He also had 3 Yankees show up at his door looking for heat. He had to turn them away because he had already taken in the polecats. Go ahead. I just saw that, and I had to put that on.
I think you were safer with the polecats.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes.
You invite a Yankee to live with you, all of a sudden they're telling you how to live in your own house.
Well, yeah, and you'll never get the smell out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So the story of chat is an interesting one. We cornered a lot of people up that night. As I said, past commander-in-chief Chuck McMichael was just trying to enjoy the banquet. We cornered him up because during I remember it because during the award ceremony, me and Connor sat next to each other and we're talking about it a bit. And then the actual dancing, the debutante started, and then we got into a corner. And we just started cornering up as many people as possible, thinking is this a good idea? Do you guys think it's a good idea? And then, we cornered up Jason and laid it out as an official plan, and then cornered up Larry and got his blessing. And then next, I think it was even next week, chat started.
Yes.
That next Monday. And again, this was Sunday. It was Sunday by the time we got done with talking to everybody. Drove home from Florida, and that Monday we started the show. I actually have the date somewhere saved. I think I put it on our Facebook page, so you can actually see the founding date is July 19th, 2020, And we are half a decade strong, 200 episodes just on SCV Chat, 500 episodes produced already when you throw in Look Around and Tennessee Tuesdays now. No, we planned it from the beginning as a Monday show.
Yes.
Tuesday was actually what we originally thought for Look Around. Then we moved it to Wednesday. Then we moved it to Thursday. Look Around had an interesting first history. But no, we always came up with yes, everybody was on there. So it was Jason, GCB, me, Commander-in-Chief McClooney, and Adam were all on the first episode, which sadly has been lost to time because of our old platform where everything originated from. We didn't know this at the time, but they deleted episodes after a time period, and now Facebook does that. Go figure. But we luckily now have YouTube and have saved a lot of our episodes. But
yeah,
so actually the first episode you can only see right now is episode 2 of SCV Chat. Yeah, Matt was on there, Candyman. We were all on there, and it was interesting.
Yeah, I can remember when we first started talking about that. I was still Army Commander, Army of Tennessee Commander, and we were talking about that show, and at that time y'all were even battling around a name. You know, we were talking about it. Either I'm gonna say the fall before or that spring of 2020. Y'all were we were actually having conversations about what to name it, how it was going to go about, getting equipment, and getting everything we needed to be able to have the show. And we were talking about it several months before then, and I can remember there was some apprehension. And then as you get closer to it and everybody was kind of going, yeah, let's do it. And I can remember we had one of those conversations. Okay, what are we doing wrong here? Because everybody's telling us we ought to do this and it looks like we're ready to go with it. What are we doing wrong or what are we missing? And I can remember we had one of those conversations. So
yeah.
That was, okay. It's one of those things when everything goes too good, what are you doing wrong? And this was one of those, I can remember when we talked about it, we decided we were going to do it. I told y'all that I was all for it, but I can remember when y'all walked up to that table on that, I'd already been sworn in maybe 2 or 3 hours earlier. And y'all coming up, and I remember what Connor said. He goes, I want to know if you're good to your word, because you said that you were going to back this show. Are you going to back the show? And that's how it really started, And if I remember right, Larry and I started both laughing. Larry McClooney and I were sitting at the table, and we both started laughing because we're going, yeah, we think this is a great idea. And y'all brought it. It was I didn't think of this show. You and Connor brought the show. Y'all brought it and y'all were talking about it. And then when you first started, you're going, my stars. Yeah, that's something that we ought to do. But you think 5 years ago, lots happened in 5 years.
A lot has happened. I remember what gave us the idea. So Connor had been division commander of the Mississippi Division for about 8 or 9 months. He was headed up to his first Confederate Memorial Day. It was during COVID. It was all locked down. We couldn't have a big get together. And so I think Connor was the one that came up, and I think I'm right. GCB's in the chat. He can correct me. Connor was like, let's do a live stream. Yeah. And we invited a couple people down. It was a small crowd. We had to stay within regulations. Open event in Upper Mississippi at the grave of S.D. Lee.
Yep. Yeah.
We gave a program. I gave a butchered version of Dixie singing very next to the camera, which that to this day is my most regretful thing I've done. And then Connor texts me because I was his aide de camp. And he's like, dude, 20,000 people have watched that. And then that number kept rising and rising and rising to the point where we were like, something's here. People want this type of content. And we started looking, and there were so many of these new type of shows. So again, traditionally, and we've always talked about this being a television show. And traditionally, if you talk about a television show, you mean what's on cable. But during 2020, there was a lot of people that were starting to do shows on the internet. And they were outdoing CNN, Fox, NBC, or MSCBC, whatever. And we started noticing that these shows are performing really well. These aren't, podcasts. Podcasts are traditionally, you listen to them, they're a radio show. But these people were started out doing podcasts, and they were transitioning into these live show formats. And we were like, oh, there's nothing out there for people with Confederate heritage. All you see is us getting attacked by online historians, online shows. It was, again, they still think it's a cool thing to do. And so we were like, we want something for us. And at first it was going to be once a month. I do remember that. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong, but I think the choice was always Monday. I remember our first tagline. So before we settled on reclaiming the narrative 1 week at a time, it was Mondays are for the men. And once our audience started expanding to past SCV members, and we actually have a very large following of UDC members, OCR, our women, our children, and then we come to find out whole families sit down to watch this show. We were like, okay, well, we got to change Mondays are for the men. And I think we had maybe one more in between there, but then we settled on reclaiming the narrative 1 week at a time. And we've stuck with that one since. That's probably my favorite. GCB came up with that one. And maybe it was Carl. I can't remember. But it was a crazy journey because so much happened quickly. We talked about it from April till reunion. And then that Sunday night, so much that we do now every Monday of almost every week of every year for the past 5.5 years was settled on that night. We were all in agreement. That first episode, I think, was on Robert E. Lee, or maybe that was the second episode.
I was there on the first. I forget how many.
You were there for a while.
Yeah, pretty much for the first year. I think I was on for most of them if I wasn't doing something. And Larry was on a bunch of them as well because he was CIC at the time. I remember some of the ones that we did. I remember the first one we did on Stonewall Jackson. Mm-hmm. And I remember another one we did on Stonewall and Lee. And, and one was just on Stonewall, which I liked. And then
fun fact for you. I said fun fact. I didn't realize this, but so last year we redid the Stonewall video, or maybe it's been 2 years now. And it was called Defending Stonewall. And I wanted to point out because I forgot that one of our first episodes was on Stonewall, but now this new episode of Stonewall is the most watched episode of SCV Chat in our history with over 14,000 views.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. It's crazy.
And there were several things that y'all did along the way that I think that took it to the next level. Just when y'all started doing the live shows, and we were not just these going live, but when we went to National Reunion, and you said, "Okay, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to," every day we're going to have a recap of what happened for the day. And then on Saturday, because I can remember when I was elected commander in chief, I remember Larry McClooney coming in there and he was happy about being passed. I'll just put it that way, and it, but y'all had all of that live and you had it coming out just live, and seeing that's the thing that makes it, to me, it's not a scripted show.
No.
I mean, the only time I've ever had a scripted show was when I did Commander's comments. Yeah, that's what Larry did. Woo-hoo. Yeah,
so there is a clip still out there on Look Around. So I can't remember who came up with the idea. So we started reunion with filming the opening banquet.
Yes.
The placement of the flags, the color guard, and that's always been one of our most watched episodes of the year. Then we do reunion updates, and then on election years, me and Connor decided, well, let's do a special look around, because the whole week we do just SCV chats, and by that time we had look around had debuted, announcing who won. And we had invited Larry on to speak since he was past commander-in-chief. Or no, we invited you on to speak because you were just elected commander-in-chief. And Larry comes in celebrating, woo-hooing, screaming. He was so happy. You could see the joy on his face, man. And then he just gets out of the room. And I'll never forget Connor looking at you and saying, you can still step down. And you could hear Larry outside the door yelling, I'll kill him. And yeah, I remember filming your swearing in, and that's something we also do now is we film the passing of the torch, if you will, the passing of the commander-in-chief flag, you getting your gewgaw put on, you doing the swearing in for lieutenant and commander-in-chief. And I remember the looks I got, because I don't know if you remember this, but like when you guys were getting sworn in, I had the camera a bit back for the awards, and I was like, well, you can't really see just two men. I was trying to get everybody who wins, the Robert E. Lee Award and the Jeff Davis Chalice in, and so I had to back up, and then all of a sudden it's just you and Larry, and I was sitting there like, oh no. And so I had to run up there, and there's a picture somewhere of me setting the camera right in front of them almost. And both of them, to their credit, rolled with it, because we had asked permission, but we never really discussed where I'd be setting up. So all of a sudden, I am in spitting distance from these two men as they're trying to do this important ceremony, and I'm rolling the camera down a little bit because, they were both pretty short men. So I was trying to make sure they were both in camera shot, and I remember Connor laughing. Dad was laughing. I don't know how you two weren't laughing. Larry still had that joy on his face. As soon as that past commander gewgaw was put on him, it looked like he'd won the lottery. And then you gave, of course, your speech afterwards, and I had to get it perfect. I remember for Donnie had a podium. So Donnie goes up there to the podium. Well, heck, I'm looking at Donnie's shoes now. I'm running back with them. It's always a fun time on the show doing stuff live.
And that's what makes it so wonderful, because it is not scripted. We're just completely going off the and Commander McClooney is right about that. But because people want to know, people who've never been can get to see this, or people who've been but haven't been able to come to that one. They want to know what's going on. But I tell you, just the fact of the imperfections that happen in these shows, that's what I think it is. The only time, like I said, the only time I've ever gone scripted, and that was when I would have talking points when I was doing commander's comments when I was commander-in-chief, because I had all of these things I need to talk to. I didn't have everything scripted. I just say, okay, I need to talk about boom. I need to talk about this or that, But this is, and to be here, and I really hate that Connor's not here. Connor, I will say that you are missed. And I will say that I'm honored to have filled in for you. And I want to thank you, Moose, for thinking about me. and asking me to come on. And I appreciate it, and I'm honored to be here. This is the flagship show that got it all started to begin with, and I think it's come a long way because we have something almost every night.
Yep.
I think we have something every night. And I talk about us. I'm talking about the Confederacy. I'm talking about people of the Southland. Because when you said earlier, when this was brought to me, you and Connor brought this to me, you were right, because you were saying we don't have anything. And there was nothing out there talking about the Southland. And one of the things that we were talking about was we were getting close to being able to open the museum, because you got to think, Larry McClooney was elected in July of 2020. I was elected as Lieutenant Commander in Chief. We opened the museum October the 3rd of 2020. And we were thinking, okay, what can we do? Because we were elected in July, and here it is in October. So many months later, what can we do to get all of this kicked off? What can we do to get all of this going? And this was also fit into that line. And we said, okay, and if you remember this conversation when we were talking about it, and we even talked about it that night that you were talking at the National Reunion in Jacksonville. We want this to be as though friends and brothers were sitting around talking about the war in the Southland. We want to, sure, there's times it is going to be, you bring somebody on like Dr. Mitchell, who is a very good researcher, who is a great scholar, who is a great writer. And a man such as him, he's going to be able to give a detailed talk. And Michael C. Hardy, you can ask a question to Michael C. Hardy, and I heard him rattle stuff off the top of his head, and I'm going, man, this guy has his fountain of knowledge he's forgotten more about the war in the last 30 seconds than I'll know. That's how sharp these guys are. Whereas when we're talking about it, it's going to have a different nature. And the point was to just let the show go where the show goes, but just to have a bunch of friends sitting around talking about what is important to us. Mm-hmm. And that is our history, our culture, our ancestors. Because remember, we are of the Southland. We are of the land itself. The land is important to us. Where we're from is important to us. Where we came from is important to us. And that's what we wanted the show to be about. So, and I think that it has held true to that.
I think so too. I wanted to point out real quick, Carl said GCB came up with our current slogan. My opinion, our best one, reclaiming the narrative 1 week at a time. But I also want to point out there's a lot of people that always compliment our theme song. I love the fact that we have a theme song for the Monday show. And Carl Jones did perform that song. Yeah. And it is still one of the things that lets me know SCV chat starting. I'm getting pumped up. It has helped me get through so many episodes, because people don't realize this. There's going to be a lot of episodes of the year that if you looked at me and GCB before we got started, we look like the most tired people on this earth. And that song always brings me up at least, and gets me fired up and gets me in the persona of the show and talking. And it is great. I've loved the show, and I want to thank Jeff. We did not think it would turn into what it is today. I remember one of our big kicking off points was when we covered the first pilgrimage. And I remember seeing people watch it on their phones and send pictures in. I remember HQ had it on the dead gum television for the employees that were working that day. And that's when I knew that we had something special here. And we've covered every pilgrimage since. It always brings in a lot of views for us. Always love doing it. Always a fun time. And so I want to thank you, Jeff. And I didn't realize that we did that on the anniversary of the charge, but something else I wanted to point out, and something that I think we really need to sing some praises for. and that is Mama Bond did invest a lot into this show. God bless her. She had to put up with me and Connor, who acted like children the majority of the time. We still do, even though Connor's in his 30s. I'm almost in my 30s. I don't want to talk about that at the moment. And
y'all are just babes. You still have spots.
Oh, it's gonna break me.
Yeah, I have liver spots. Y'all have different spots.
I got spots. Where are they at? There they are. But yeah, she did invest. She invested a lot of time and a lot of money, because me and Connor, I can attest to me anyway. I'm still broke, but I was broker back then. I couldn't rub two pennies together most days. I've told this story hundreds of times, where I went to go buy me some ramen noodles to eat. I swiped my card. My card declined for 87 cents. That was an eye-opening experience. And again, I was too prideful to talk to my father until times, were a bit more brutal. I sent that poor man a message, hey, send me some money. But she invested a lot of money and time in the show. She got us our first bit of equipment. She got us the stands for us to film the pilgrimage, for us to film National. Me and then I can't remember which one of us did it. I know Connor's gonna blame me, but one of us broke one of them, so she had to go get another one. Go check out Patreon to see what Connor is about to invest more. And she really is an unsung hero. So is Connor's sister. So is Dad. Those people have really done so much for the show, and they've never been on it. They've never wanted to be on it. I know that they've just done so much for the show, and I want to just sit back and thank them for a minute. And yeah, David's right. This stuff is not cheap to do.
No, it's not.
No, we probably rack up about, it's not like six figures or anything, but it's at least, I don't want to say the exact amount, because I feel like some eyes are going to come out of your head, but it's a lot of money for me and Connor, especially when the show was starting. A couple of grand for us was like tens of thousands of grand back then. And the show's only gotten more expensive to produce with the platform raising their dues, to the equipment we've gotten, the maintenance, the monthly subscriptions sometimes to get the equipment to work, which I think we need to talk more about. Why do I have to buy something and then be charged monthly for it? I don't get it. Yeah. But that's how online stuff works, and this content creation stuff works. And
well, just to keep a subscription to Canva, to be able to do something like that. I mean, that's just one piece of one software. And you've got dozens of software out there, because you need all of it to create all of it and then to host the show. And I tell you, then people think about the equipment, the software. Equipment's one thing, software is another.
Software is another monster. We have a couple for what we're trying to do this year, and some of them can get to $70 a month.
Yes.
And so the show gets extremely expensive to produce, and it's really our Patreon. And I'm gonna take a minute before we keep going, because me and Jason are both great talkers. I'm going to take my pistol out as my sidearm real quick, because it is starting to hurt in this position. And first, I want to talk about our first ever, or not our first ever, but our first pretty long promo code for our t-shirts. If you go to scvchat.com right now, you can get 15% off this t-shirt until July 5th. Use promo code 250. It's the t-shirt. The South was right in 1861 because America was right in 1776. All you got to do is type in SCV Chat. You'll see it scrolling on the top of every screen you go to on the website. You click that promo code. It'll take you to the shop. And make sure you put in the promo code, or you're not going to get any money off. You're going to be paying full price. It's not going to hurt us, but we would like for y'all to get something because I would like to see a lot of people wearing this shirt come reunion. I want to see it because I bought mine. Yes, I do have to buy my own T-shirts, even though I own part of the company. I don't understand why, but here we are. And with that being said, I do want to talk about our sponsors tonight as we get a bit closer to the end of the show. Y'all are going to have to give me a minute because we do have a new sponsor, so it's going to take me a little second to get everything kind of fired up here.
And he's right. It isn't cheap to put on one of these. As you know, we're having the show Tennessee Tuesday. That Tennessee division is working on. Myself and John Blankenship will be live tomorrow night as well. But I can tell you, just a basic subscription to StreamYard, the host site for this, it's $1,000, and that's the basics, and it's going up, and then it goes up. I mean, and that's just the hosting site to be able to use that. Not everything you use to create the videos, not everything you use to create the logos. There's a lot of expense that goes into this. And have you got everything queued up and ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let her rip.
All right, so I do want to mention tonight's commercial break is sponsored by, of course, scvchat.com. Go check out that promo code on our website again, 250. You're only going to see that promo code if you watch an episode. That way I know if you're watching.
Yes.
So it's not going to be anywhere else. So remember, write it down, promo code 250. If you can't figure out why we're running this promo, got nothing for you today.
Nope.
But make sure you get that shirt. And, of course, check out the amazing, great things. If you are having problems with YouTube or Facebook, our kind of platforms right now, you can watch every episode live on our website. You can see some of our favorite archived episodes. You can see so much on our website. And, of course, our Patreon for $2.50 a month, you can feed us moose. That is just general support. For $10 a month, you become a real chat head where you get your name added to the end of every episode and a personal thank you when you do sign up. And, of course, behind-the-scenes content like GCB posted a blog today. We will be adding some more stuff today. Of course, you get extra stuff. We do have some massive content we have coming for you this year, and you'll be the first to see it if you're on Patreon. Of course, behind-the-scenes stuff, the show, you get your own show, which, knock on wood, we'll be restarting the Moosehead Book Club soon. And, of course, the after show where it's PG-13. It's mostly unfiltered, bless y'all's heart. And it's just me and GCB talking about whatever we want to. So you can check that out. And, of course, for $80 a month, you can sponsor the show like these great gentlemen. Have you fallen off a fence? Have you tweaked your knee? Has your puppy bit you in the eye? Then you might want to check out Dr. Chris Cummins, MD, up in the Oxford, Mississippi region. Dr. Cummins will treat you some great Southern hospitality, make you feel good, and get you back to healthy again to the point where you're going to want to skip that apple so you can see the doctor. And, of course, our new sponsor is past Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney with his latest book, Paradox of Freedom. You can go check that out at booksbylarry.com and just tell you a little about the book. Check out this latest book, which explores the little-known history of free African-American slaveholders in the Antebellum South, challenging the conventional ideas of race, freedom, and power. Discover this and author Larry McClooney's other great books in defense of, or in Beauregard's defense, Gunboats, Rivers, and Bayous, and Railroads, and On to Vicksburg, the Mississippi Central Railroad Campaign and the Yazoo Pass Exposition, a Union thrusted into the Delta, and more at booksbylarry.com, BOOKSBYLARRY.com. We want to thank him for sponsoring the show. And Dr. Chris Cummins, you can check that stuff out down below in the comment section. And we'll be right back talking just wherever comes in our mind for the next little bit when we get back from this commercial break. Thank y'all, and we'll see you right. I got to find it. I'm unfamiliar. I'm rusty. There it is.
There is a place nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost, stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
One last time, we want to thank our sponsors. Of course, scvchat.com. Go check us out on there. SCV Chat on Patreon, where you can help us in reclaiming the narrative 1 week at a time. Of course, we could not do this without our Patreon members. Yes. Derek T. Glover just also upgraded his. I want to shout him out and thank him. And just, again, it's a massive undertaking for this show. And we are trying to find ways to improve. And we think we found one this year that everybody's going to like. If you like some of our short videos last year, well, guess what? We're taking it up a notch. And we can't wait to do that. And, of course, our sponsors, Dr. Chris Cummins, MD, up in the Oxford, Mississippi region. And, of course, Past Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney's newest book, Paradox of Freedom. booksbylarry.com. And kind of want to also shout out Derek again. Thank you for an excellent episode. Of course, this one was a lot closer to the original format of chat where we kind of just came on and let the comments stir where we went.
Yes.
That's one of me and Jason's favorite type of episodes. Sometimes I love our reaction episodes. I've loved our episodes with guests. I've loved even the episodes where we come in with a little bit of something. But some of these episodes kind of turned into the funnest to shoot because it goes by so quickly. So, yeah, please share this out, especially for those who can't watch tonight due to power loss. We want to give them something to see later to make time go by quicker, to make them laugh for a little bit. Because at the end of the day, I've explained this show to so many people. It's an online television show that its foundation is Southern entertainment. We're teaching you about the Southland. We're teaching you about our heritage, but we also try to make it as fun as possible because that's who we are. If you want a documentary or if you want something like that, we got the episodes for you. But the majority of this show is to entertain y'all while we're talking about this. And that's kind of something that we've always taken a lot of great pride in over the years.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you said it like that because that's very good. Because the one of the things that I liked about the show was the interaction with the viewers. because it's, you know, and if you see Tennessee Tuesday, John and I do a whole lot of that where, yeah, and Larry is correct on there.
It was kind of originally, again, we thought just our members would watch, and when we noticed a lot of families watching, me and Connor looked at each other and was like, maybe we need to turn it down a notch.
Yes,
But yeah,
yes.
if you watch, and you can go watch a lot of our first episodes of season 1 is on YouTube. Most of season 2 is on YouTube, but our catalog really starts at season 3 when the show is very polished by that point.
Yes.
But we kind of started out Gettysburg. I just want to mention Gettysburg because that got 2 shows dedicated to it after a talk that me, Larry, Connor, and Jason had one night after a Lee Jackson banquet, where we all stood in the cold for hours talking about Gettysburg, and Jason was very fired up. And he continued that fire into that Monday's episode, and we talked about Gettysburg for a while, and it was very PG-13. I'm proud to say we were never a rated R.
No.
But yeah, that first year was a bit rougher.
Yes, it was, because we had to know where the show was going to go.
Yeah.
And when we found out that it was a lot of people that were not SCV members that were watching, and we had different age groups of viewers than we were expecting, we're going, okay, we've got to change this.
Yeah.
And then when we started and getting involved with the people that were coming on, making comments, that's when that we, to me, the show, and those were the ones that I liked, because even though we would know what we were going to talk about, let's say that we were talking about, we mentioned Jackson earlier, that being one of the most watched shows. Mm-hmm. Let's just say that, well, okay, we're just going to mention Jackson in the Valley campaign, or, a significant battle of his, or we just had Chancellorsville. Here it is, May. We're going to talk about Chancellorsville. And we would start, and that would be 10 minutes of the show. And the rest of the show would be interacting with the people coming on, making comments, because they'll tell you where they want the show to go and what they're interested in hearing. So yes, that was, but yes, we did have at the very beginning, because you got to think the original premise of the show was just going to have a couple of guys, just sitting around there was no table, but think of it sitting around a table, just talking about the South and the war, because there was nothing for the people of the Southland. And that was the essence of the show. So,
and that really, those beginning episodes, some of them are rough from a viewership standpoint. If you were just watching them, I feel for you. I cannot believe how quickly, with that editing and that software we had at the start, how quickly everybody jumped on board. We went from, we were having a celebration that 50 people watched, a couple of the first episodes. Well, Adam still smokes cigars. Jason does occasionally on the show. I would if I had an outside area, more than likely. I'm not even going to lie. I like a good cigar every now and then. But then, it kind of took off. All of a sudden, we're getting 300-400 people, and now we get over 1,000 easily every episode, reaching 1.8 million people a year. It's crazy. And I do remember when me and Connor, I don't know if y'all were still on the show, but when we kind of started making it more PG was when this young boy comes up to us. Yes. And was like, we enjoy watching the show. And we were like, oh
no. Okay, yes, we gotta, and we didn't say anything bad.
We didn't say anything bad.
But we have got to think about it. And I'm glad that we're talking about this, because I want to bring it up because David Pope does have a very good show, Friday Night Live with Friends of the Douglas Southall Freeman. And it is intentionally a different show.
Yes.
And I can remember when I become Commander-in-Chief, we started doing the commander's comments on the first Thursday night. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, we don't need it to be like the other shows. we need it to be. So we're on. We got the gewgaw, the coat, and the tie, because it was intentional to be a different show, and it takes different shows. And because some people want like David Pope is talking here, a scholarly, reserved, and then some people just want to see a bunch of guys sitting around talking, being silly, and then they want to critique what everything we're saying,
Oh yeah,
And-
I still
yeah.
get critiques. That's half the emails I respond to.
Yes.
But I will say I'm going to take one from Commander Blankenship here. Probably my favorite part of this quote unquote job.
Yeah.
Is because I treat it like a job. The show is owned by a business. We do have a business model. I know it doesn't look like we do, but we do.
Yeah.
And some of my favorite things is interacting with the viewers, not only on the show, but in person.
Yes.
That's kind of become my favorite thing, is being at an SCV event. I've been recognized at a gas station. And people just, one was good, one was bad.
Okay.
So it's happened to me twice. One person told me that, die, you Confederate pig. And the other person was like, oh, I watched your guys' show. You're on the Monday show. I was like, yeah. Thank y'all for your support. And that's probably my favorite thing about the show is people coming up to me at reunions or SCV events and being like, look, I just want to let y'all know that we watch your show with our kids. We watch it with our family. And that stuff really made me know that, I want to keep doing this. Because, 5 years is a long time. I don't think I'm blowing anybody's mind. When me and Connor first started, we thought maybe it would last to the end of Jason's term. We thought that would be a good place.
Because I can remember having the conversation. Are you going to continue this when you become commander in chief? Y'all are already wondering that, and we wasn't even a year into it. Yeah,
like it was right before Jason's, and I'm glad we asked before Jason made his announcement on the show. I want to thank Jason for making his announcement for commander in chief on the show. But I think Jason wanted to kill us after we played a Jurassic Park video of him towering over the Capitol with Jason Boshiers for commander in chief. But we asked him because at that point we had noticed that this show had a lot more potential.
Yes.
And the show still has a lot of potential in my eyes. I think the show, the possibilities are endless. What can spawn from this, and what has already spawned from this. Again, you think about it. There are at least 3 shows that have spawned from this. That's crazy to think about.
Tennessee Tuesday, Look Around Florida. That's 2 of them that right there.
Yeah, Friday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we produce Look Around, but again, if you would have asked us when we started this, thinking that we would have another show,
2 shows? No.
2 shows was just we would have laughed at that. And then you add Tennessee Tuesdays, and then you add Friday Night Live, Look Around Florida, and Michael Hardy was already doing his show. But you add that, and the only time there's not a live show for you to watch is Saturday. It is crazy to think about. Oh, well, thank you, Jeff, first off, for sending in information. Please send in everything for Thursday. I do have an announcement for Thursday's show before we end tonight. And, that's what makes me so happy is hearing people from divisions. We have somebody in California that plays our Monday episodes at their monthly meetings. They pick their favorite one from the month. People request episodes, and they'll watch it as their speaker because, they're in California.
Yes.
And that really made me feel very happy. And like David says, we try our best to be very educational, but the diversity of the programming is what probably helps everybody stand out. Everybody who hosts a show does it differently. I even host Look Around differently than I would host a regular SCV chat. And it is, I think that's what works best for us is the differences in the show. Jason is also right. We went from Moose doing this in a shoe closet to Moose doing this, or it started out in my grandparents' spare room, because when we started the show, I was on summer break, so I filmed in that corner over there with a little. My grandfather has these boxes that he puts his stuff in, and I just hijacked 2 boxes to stack it up on my computer. My grandmother got me this Mississippi flag. If y'all remember the first setup as a backdrop, I took down the mirror. I tore the paint off the walls. I had to pay for that later. And then it went to my first office in Oxford, but that, of course, wasn't temporary. Then I went to the bed, which thank you, Jason, for bringing that up. Thank you. I try to forget that I used to record in the bed next to me. And then I went over here, and I just didn't like the look of it. And then now, I'm at a little office where I have actual stuff from, I have this new thing. Stark Miller gave me this knife. He was kind of my first mentor as a historian. I've had a lot of mentors in this organization. Jason's actually one of them. God bless him. And he gave me this. Jason didn't give me anything. He gave me a handshake. I gave him a tie, though. I want to point that out, a $50 tie. But it's a replica of a World War II knife that the soldiers carried. I got Audrey the plant. I got my Shelby Foot books that I bought from headquarters. And, of course, I have the thing that started it all, my junior park rangers badge that when Dad was taking me to battlefields, that really kind of got me differently. It's different styles. Someone said diversity, go woke, go broke. I see you, brother. I hope you're having a good day. But, no, it was the different styles, if that's a better term, of the show. And, John says it best.
Yes.
There is something for everybody. There's a lot of people that want our help starting new shows, and we are trying our best to get to y'all, I promise. It's just it can be hard some days because I actually have a real job that I have to do, which is not fun. I enjoy this job a lot more. If I could make this my living, I would. But
well, you go broke doing this job because you spend money. You spend money. You don't make money. You spend money.
Someone mentioned to me, he's like, "Oh, y'all must be making a lot of money with the Patreon." I was like, "Dude, all of it goes back into the show to run ads, to make videos, to keep what we have, to edit what we have, to get better equipment." GCB is going to hate me for this, but we also got new cameras. GCB has his. I need to get an adapter for mine. GCB got us these cameras with the Patreon funds, and I have yet to hook it up, but we are working on it. And by the time we do everything with the Patreon money, there is nothing left.
I still go in my pocket for everything.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of the times me and Connor, and we don't like to talk about it, but I spend a lot of my money on this show, a lot of my money. And sometimes, like, people think that, I do the whole broke college student as a bit, and part of it is, but no, a lot of it was based in facts that, when you start traveling for SCV events, and then you add this show down to it, I don't have a lot of money to do anything else. I remember Dad being like, "Let's go on a vacation." I was like, "You got it covered, my man."
Yeah.
Because I had everything? Like, I ain't got nothing. And he got a chuckle out of that. But I mean, it's true that we pour a lot into the show. We use all the Patreon money for the show. We use a good bit of our own money. I talked about, Patreon got this for me, but I needed a new computer a year ago. And so I had to buy that computer. Patreon was at the time covering some of our expenses, but there wasn't enough to buy a new computer. I mean, this computer I have is over $3,000. Guess what I did? Savings? Who needs savings? Live free. So I got the computer. Luckily, I didn't have to buy Audrey. Audrey has been here. But yeah, no, a lot goes into this, and we're very thankful for how everybody has supported the show. Even tonight, we've had to push back the premiere 2 weeks, which has never happened since we've started the show, or since we got renewed for our first season 3. because season 1 and 2, and that's the reason we're on season 7 for people who don't know. The first year, we broke up the season. So season 1 was actually stretched from reunion till December. And then season 2 was stretched from January until reunion. So we thought we were going to have 2 shows. Me and Connor looked at each other and were like, why are we breaking it up? And I mean, again, yeah, that first year we only had half a year to work with. And so we thought it was a good idea at the time. But so that's also the people ask me, how can y'all be on season 7 when y'all haven't even reached 6th year yet? Well, when we started off, we broke it into 2 seasons because we didn't know if we were going to be around in 6 months. When season 1 ended, we did not know if we were coming back that January. We had no idea. We were hoping, and luckily, everybody thought that we had done a good job, so we were able to get the money to renew ourselves for season 2. And ever since then, we've been and then back in July when we were looking at Jason with Puppy Dog Eyes being like, this is a good point to stop if you're not going to do it, because we're on our season break. Oh God, don't, Jason, don't. We'll talk about that in a second. We're like, this is a good point to stop if you're not wanting to do it. We'll stop at season 2. We've done a great bit of stuff. We want to keep going. We think there's something here, and luckily, yeah, Jason gave us the green light for season 3, 4, and 5. And so, yeah, thank him for that. And of course, and now we're on season 7. It's crazy to think about over 200 episodes, over 500 episodes when you add Tennessee Tuesday and Look Around. So we've almost made 1,000, or we're halfway there to 1,000. That's crazy. Yeah, and I want to thank Jason for bringing that up. So we did a rerun last Monday. We didn't want people to be without the show. I was on a hunting trip. GCB was sick, sick as a dog. I had no internet. I couldn't do it. And something else happened the week before. I can't even remember. That's how crazy this month has been. And so, yeah, for the first time, we had to knock it back to the last week in January. But GCB's still sick, bless his soul. But yeah, no, I want to thank everybody for remembering the pre-beard years. I have aged a lot on this show. I went from being in my early 20s and now my late 20s on this show. Gosh, yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, I can remember.
Yeah, and now I have the beard. People are going to be shocked. I told somebody, one of my friends, was like, I'm going to shave it off one time randomly just to see how many people are surprised. Yeah, it is strange watching, but I want to thank everybody that do support our reruns. And thank you, Jason, for watching it. And I did get a lot of comments like, man, you look so different. I was like, you guys got to think that episode you're talking about, the rerun with Michael C. Hardy, that was 3 years ago. I've gained weight. I've lost weight. I've grown a beard. My hairline has moved back, which thankfully y'all don't notice because I wear a hat. There's some gray hair up there somewhere. It's been a lovely ride. I have aged on the show. I looked at the first episode we did. Oh, it was heartbreaking. I was like, my gosh, what happened to that child? He looks like he's seen horrific things.
Yes.
Now, you and Larry look the same. Y'all look great. Poor Adams look like he's been stressed all high heaven dealing with me and Connor. Connor just changed his hair. That's the only really thing Connor changed. He lost a good bit of weight too, which I'm proud of him still if he's listening. But Connor hasn't really changed that much when you think about it. I look like I have just served a life sentence. Like I've committed a crime. I don't want to know how different I'm going to look about when this show one day ends. I hope it's no time soon, but it's going to be rough looking. I can tell you that much.
Well, we're all going to be aging by that. It's, just look at somebody who was on TV. Somebody comes out in a movie now. Look at when they did a movie 10 years ago. and look at when they did a movie 20 and 30 years ago. So it's just it's all part of life. There's only two options. You're either going to get older or you're going to cross the river. That's the only two options. There's not a third.
Yeah.
And I'll take looking at the blades of the grass instead of looking at the roots. When like Jackson said, the good Lord has already decided the time, date, and location of where He's going to come get me. I don't have a say so in the matter. I believe in that and I trust in that. So,
Amen.
you just keep on doing what you think is the right thing to do. And this is a good show. It's the right thing to do. See, that's the thing about the show. And that was the reason why I liked it, because it was the right thing to do, because it was something that just so badly missing at the time. So, and now that it's out there, look at how it's grown. As you mentioned earlier, look what spawned off from it. There is no limit. Just how long do you want to do the show?
Yeah.
Because there's just look at how long Michael C. Hardy's been doing his. And
gosh, yeah.
And it's still, I watched last night's show and he's still new material, new ideas, new thoughts. And, and that's because he would, a couple of episodes back, he said, what would you like to, if you could write a book, what would you like for it to be on, And, and that's all of these ideas that people have in their head. It's a great thing.
Yeah. And I do remember someone telling me that we would run out of episodes, ideas after 2 or 3 years. And again, here we are at almost 6 and we haven't ran out yet. Some of them are just off the wall crazy, but heck, y'all seem to like it. John, that's what I'm going for. I want y'all to see me go from a sprung, bright-eyed kid and show y'all what the SCV's done to me. Gray and I wouldn't change it for the world. I think I said it this weekend. This year, a lot of people have been focusing on Lee and Jackson as a Christian men. And my camp has done that with our spiritual night. I went down to Sheardsboro and Gainesville's Lee Jackson, and they had it. Sam Davis didn't have a choice when I spoke at their Lee Jackson Saturday. I was like, guys, I'm sorry. I really feel like I have to. And I talked about purpose and how God has put us all on the earth to do something. And you look at people like Duck Dynasty. You didn't know it, but God put Phil Robertson on this earth to do 3 things: hunt, build duck calls, and preach the Lord. And I feel like something similar. I've been put on this earth to farm, be an SCV member and be the best one I can be, and preach the word. And that's what I'm doing here. I get to do something I love every week. I get to spend 40 hours a week doing something I love every week while also balancing a job, which, trust me, this show was a lot easier when I was in college.
Yes.
But I get to do something I love every week. Every day, this whole month, I've been getting to travel for something I love. I love being an SCV member. I love doing the show. And honestly, when I figured out this is one of the things that God was really pulling me to do, I jumped in with both feet. I became an adjutant, which I still could kill Connor for. I don't know how Jason's a division adjutant, but it has been a heck of a ride, and I wouldn't change it for nothing. I'm still got that fire. And of course, we have our Bible themed episodes now, something me and Connor are very proud of to start doing. Look Around, we'll be having one in February as we kind of get ready for our interviews. So that reminds me, as we start needing to wrap up the show before my food is outside and turning to ice. Commander Bobby Herning is coming on this Thursday. He is running for ATM councilman. I have a couple people already locked down for February, but I'm waiting to see before I announce that who else is coming on in February. I have a couple people lined up already. And I can't wait. But again, Commander Bobby Herning, he's commander of the Louisiana Division. of the SCV, and he is running as your ATM councilman. So make sure to share that out when the episode comes to be, and support it. Show it out. Ask questions. We'll have our own questions. If we have some time, we'll look through the audience questions and put them on there. You'll be getting to know your people running for office. This is very important for the organization of my peer. This is one of the proudest things I think I've done with the show, is give people a voice in getting to know their national officers, because it can be hard, because sometimes they're traveling so much, they get to visit a lot of people, but there's also a lot of people they don't get to see. And so I'm hoping these interviews become a way for you to communicate with someone, decide if you're going to cast your vote. I wish every candidate the best of luck. And so, yeah, tune into that this Thursday. We'll cover a bit of news before jumping into the interview. So make sure to check that out. Promotional for that will be out tomorrow or Wednesday. So check it out. And yeah, no, as Charles says, yeah, I can't. I'm so happy that we started doing these episodes.
Oh yeah.
Because if it wasn't for God giving me this drive, this purpose, this love for this, or even blessing us with this show, I mean, again, you think about it: 2 Mississippi boys and my T-Rex, and a couple other misfits along the way. That's what I'm gonna call Adam and Larry, and everybody else that's been involved with the show since the beginning. We did not think it was going to get this big at first. We had hopes later on when we saw the potential, but I mean, you never know. And God then blesses us with 2 seasons where we get over 1 million views. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were throwing a parade at 80,000 or 800,000. That first year, I think we got 100,000 views, and we were like,
really?
100,000 people watch the show, huh? People in Turkey apparently are big SCV chat fans. Don't understand that. People in Canada, Europe, some people in Mexico, a lot of people from all walks of life watch this show, and God has blessed us with that. So I'm very thankful we started doing this. But before we wrap up, I'm going to ask Commander Bo Shears, does he have anything he wants to say?
I would like to end with a Jackson story. Because, here we are still so close to the burst for him and Lee. I was reading a book, Randolph H. McKim's Leaves of a Confederate Soldier. He was a 2nd lieutenant under Jackson. And he tells this story. Now, as you know, Jackson, old Stonewall, he had several different nicknames. Stonewall was one. Old Jack was another one. And these were men that were generally in his command, that were very close to him. When they would be having a conversation, okay, let's just say that, we're both close to Connor, but Connor wasn't around. So you and I would have a little nickname for him, and Old Jack was one of them that old Stonewall had. Well, the day that he died, around 3:30 on May the 10th, 1863, shortly after he passed away, and Randolph H. McKim tells this story, that Jackson's men were standing around talking about it. And one of his men said, I know what happened. And they looked at him, and he goes, the moment he passed, the good Lord himself sent angels down to escort Jackson up to heaven. And when they got to the camp, they couldn't find him. And when they went around trying to look for him, they couldn't find him anywhere. So they had to go back to heaven to deliver the news that they could not find Jackson. And when they get there, old Jack was standing there. He had outflanked the angels, and he had beat them back to heaven. His own men said that about him. I just want to leave it there. I know of no other. There was never any doubt in those men's minds where Jackson was going. And they thought enough of him as a man and as a soldier that they would have even thought that he could have outflanked angels and beat them back to heaven. That's a Jackson story. And I'd like to leave it at that.
I couldn't agree better, and I don't think there's a better way to end the show. So without further ado, make sure you tune in for Tennessee Tuesdays tomorrow at 7 p.m. Confederate Standard Time. Look Around Florida will also be Wednesday at 7 p.m. And, of course, check out Look Around the Confederation this Thursday at 7 p.m. And, of course, Friday Night Lights on Friday and Hardy on History on Sundays. We want to thank everybody for watching the show. And, again, cannot believe we've almost made it to 6 years. It has been a heck of a ride, and we hope to continue as long as we can. So without any further ado, remember, chat heads, no Fumar in the elevator and rare frop.
Stay Southern, my friends.